Okay, good morning everyone. Welcome to our live stream. I've just remembered that you guys might not be able to see this because I haven't shared it to Facebook. So I'll quickly do that while Lollipop trims the hedge for me. Should have another really exciting day today. Really hoping we can ride him today. We will see whether or not that's possible. We don't make or teach assumptions. But it might be possible since we've got the saddles on and he's doing pretty well with it. But we're never going to rush anything. So need to share that, copy the link. This is a professional start to a stream, isn't it? We chat about loading it up to Facebook. We have a little bit of an audience today, which is cool. Hopefully we'll ask some questions. If you guys have any questions, you actually can comment on the stream, and there is a potential that people might answer it in real time. And we post that. Well, it's a really nice video of my horse's butt eating a hedge to start the stream. I think that's a really good way to start everything. Okay. I always forget how long it takes to post things to Facebook. It always feels like an immediate thing, and it takes ages. Alrighty. We are on. We are testing today how good our covers are for all of our cameras, as it is a little wet today. It's all supposed to be waterproof. We will find out just how waterproof, I think. Oh. Let's have a little look. Morning, Lollipop. Don't you understand, Jamie? The hedge is really tasty this morning. You don't have to come over, it's okay. We could stand and eat some hedge for a bit. We don't really want him to realise that he's being worked each morning. We want him to think of it as an enjoyable experience, so why would we rush him away from the food? Huh. Come here, I'm going to put this on you. I also find, as people, we have a little bit of a tendency. We sort of put the halter on and it's like, right, come on, we're doing stuff. And then the horse goes, well, I don't really want my halter on, because as soon as you put that on, you take me away from the thing that I want. And he's not stupid. He can tell that I don't want to stand here all day. But he also knows that they just know. They're just so wonderful. They're just so clever. Hey? Yeah, you are. We'll do your thing for a bit, and then we'll do my thing for a bit, and then we'll swap again, okay? So as I've said every morning, but I'm going to keep saying it for every video, these streams are not meant to be educational how-to videos on how to start a young horse. Your young horse, if you want to start it, we offer training here, but this is not going to be an educational video. We will not be following everything in the correct order necessarily. We'll very much be tailoring it to what he needs, which is what we do when we start horses here. But if we were to do an educational video, which if you guys like, we could potentially do that in the future, we'd take horses that really knew what they were doing, and we would show you each step, and then we would sort of go, this is the order of how you develop things. And yeah, where with this I'm just going with what I feel like, having fun with my horse. If you'd like to start your own horse, it probably makes the most sense to just come here. We do a residential course, or we have volunteers. So if you want to volunteer, muck out a few stables, bring a horse, learn how to ride yourself, we offer that too. And there's lessons and everything. We do everything, don't we, Lollipop, basically? Come on then. Come on then. We'll go for a mosey. Having said all of that, you might learn something from watching this, I don't know. If you haven't seen this type of riding before. But it is not set up to be educational. I just chat through what I'm thinking in the time. Or I might not chat at all, it depends how difficult what I'm doing is at the time. I mostly just stare at him and tell him how wonderful he is, because he really is quite wonderful. But maybe I'm biased, I don't know. Oh, so wild. Look at you, wild beast. So you probably noticed almost every session we walk around at the beginning. It's really important to start a horse off walking, rather than you know, flying around. Like, he's got quite a bit of energy, he's tossing his head. But if he comes out here and just throws himself around, he's going to make himself lame, he's going to hurt himself. And so I just make it a thing. We walk at least one lap in a straight line. I prefer 3 of the outside. And then we probably switch direction and walk the other way for a few laps. Then we might do some walking circles. Because we don't think of it, but walking a circle is much harder than walking a straight line. You know, they don't normally bend very much. If you watch if you watch wild horses, or horses out in the field even, you'll notice that they just don't really bend. They just gallop in a straight line and stop. Then they tend to do a pivot, gallop in a straight line, stop. So just spending a long time going round on the same circle, it's actually quite physically demanding for the horse. So walking the straight line is actually really important. And it's a good, just a discipline on you and a discipline on the horse to walk on the ground. You know, if he's got too much energy, still walk. We'll get to the energy, don't worry. You've been exhausted every day from all this work. And then switching from that straight line into bending exercises to help him understand where his feet are and his balance. Although Arabs never seem to need any help. They never seem to get too stumbly with their feet, but a lot of horses, particularly I think in this country, or horses that have less time out and more time in stables, you know, our fields, and it's not like when you work with a wild horse. Keep going. It's really not like when you work with a wild horse. They have done so much more playing with each other that they really know where to put their feet. So you do meet quite a few horses that have been... Attaboy. Yeah, it's nice. He sort of lost that feeling that he was going to stop. He had that sort of, I'll do 3 steps and stop attitude. I was just waiting till he lost that, till he was just backing without, he wasn't really backing badly to begin with. But he had that sort of, I'll do a few steps, stop, few steps, stop, few steps, stop. You just want him to not be thinking that there is an end. You want him to just go as if it's going on for a really long time. He's doing the same thing here on this forequarter. You'll actually, it's like few steps, stop. Few steps and stop. There you go. No, I want you to keep going. 2, stop. 1, 2, 3, stop. That's better. There you go. And a lick and chew. Money maker. To play some bitey game after that. I know. But yeah, we're still on the warm-up. We're still going from straight lines into curving, bending, turning. Getting those muscles warmed up before we do any wild Arabian things. We've got the jump again today. We'll have another little look at that. I didn't set up the fan today because I'm kind of hoping I might be able to ride him, and I'd want the rail for that. And I don't want him to be thinking about me and the fan at the same time. I'm really hoping I get to ride him, basically. And I feel like the fan is a great little educational thing for him, but it's not, it's certainly not required for me to get on him. It's just a good thing. One more lap and then we'll have some fun, hey? I know, you're full of prance this morning, huh? It's a little bit wet. Everything's growing, all the mares are in season, it's all exciting today, isn't it? We have our stables right next to a river, and all the young horses do this, so they stare off because there's a canal boat with a man just sliding sideways, and all you can see is the man stood up on his canal boat sliding sideways. They all do it, they all have a spook at it. It's weird, isn't it? How does he just slide along the floor like that? Because from here it just looks like he's sliding along the grass sideways. Oh dear, lollipop. Oh dear. There we go. But yeah, like the purpose of this section is not, it's just to get him walking and moving. So he's not got cold muscles or joints. And we're certainly not stiff from yesterday, are we? Or tired, which is good. It's nice, we're working pretty slowly with him. So you won't get that sort of stiff, sore, tired thing that you get with some others. Go on, we'll walk a bit longer. You have not used up your energy yet. What I like though is he's coming out with that calmer trot. Although I love his wild, prancy trot. He's coming out, starting in that little bit more relaxed trot. Because I'd kind of like that as the default trot, as much as the prancy trot is wonderful. Oh, maybe if I canter you'll get me off this circle. I know you like it when I canter. You're cantering very nicely as well, look at you go. Even if you are doing the Arab head up thing. This is where he's going to start to learn how to balance, because he's not used to balancing on a circle like that at canter for so long. Like I said, he just gallops from one end of the field to the other with puff, and he's probably never actually really considered, come on, I want to see a trot a little bit more consistent before we stop. He's probably never really considered how to move for any length of time. He's only ever pranced fabulously for a short time. And what I really want out of my horses is when I push the trot button, I get the working trot. I could be trotting all day, so I'm not going to overexert myself trot. And then I can push a little bit more and get an extended trot. Or I can lift a little bit more and get a slower trot. But I don't want to push the trot button and have kapow, and then have to work on slow down, you end up nagging, and it's not fun. So even though I have these high-powered wild Arabians, one, you're creeping in here, that's nice. I might just end because that's so nice. Huh. There wasn't exactly a precisely correct time to end there, and I know a lot of people will say you should have ended at this exact point. And there are very much times where you release on an exact thing. I feel like with him there's so much that he needs to learn about travelling on a circle. Correct head carriage, the impulsion we were talking about. The way he has to position his hips differently, his shoulders. Then he's got my weight, the saddles. The list goes on and on and on and on and on. So you just pick one. I always feel like you just pick one. So there, I like that he kept his head in towards me and was looking at me at the end and was more relaxed than he was at the beginning. So I choose to end there. But really, you're just constantly rewarding good stuff at this point and ignoring the bad and asking him to keep going till it gets a little better. Good boy. It's important that your horse doesn't think of a jump as something he must always jump. It's another obstacle, and the horse should be coming into a jump with that question. We had it a little bit over here where he said, do you want me to trot and maybe jump that? Or at least that's how I read it. He sort of bounced himself up a bit. Like he thought, oh, maybe we're going to go to trot now. I'll jump that. And that's what you want, is you want it to be like any other obstacle, like the trailer, like a water tray, like the saddle. These challenges that we put horses through, we want them to see it as a puzzle. Even the trotting circles, it's a mental puzzle for him to figure out. Come on then, kiddo. Attaboy. He's like, what if I do that curling in thing that I did last time to get a break? I do really like that. You know I do. Don't you? Don't you? You know I really like that. Go on. I'm not going to release on that one. Because what I'm actually kind of had in my head was we might try the canter on this side before you stop. Okay. We might just try the canter on this side a little bit. Woo. And he's off. Again, we had a little trouble with this lead yesterday. It's okay. Can you figure out your leads again? One more time. See if maybe it's a good thought. That's better. What I like though is we've lost that slightly wild gallop off canter that we had last time. It's much more of a smooth, still a little bit Araby, aren't you? You're still an Arab. You've still got that dishy nose. We're still wonderful. Oh, yeah. You're still a wonder Arab. Oh, still a wonder Arab. Oh, a good boy. All right, well, let's have a quick look at the flag. I couldn't say why I didn't grab the flag straight off. Just wasn't in my hand when I went to get the horse, I suppose. But again, we're trying to isolate the difference between when you should move and when it's just background noise. But horses often they look at something making a loud noise and they think that's the thing that means move, and the louder it is, the faster I should move. And what the flag can do is help the horse to read you a bit better and ignore that extra sound that's going on. Because the flag's actually just background noise. You can also use it as getting a horse to move, making them jump if they're really used to whips. You need something that's effective. You see, I really like that he's kind of thinking it rather than just going, oh, there's a noise, I gotta move. But he actually has begun to learn this when he was 8 months. There's a video of him somewhere buried in our Facebook picking up his feet for the first time, and he gets a foot all tangled. He can't get it up, and I'm squeezing his leg, asking him to lift it, and he sort of has to adjust all his other feet to lift that foot up. And it's a really cute moment where my timing was really good, which is cool. And little things like that help him to know that when I'm pressuring you, it doesn't mean I want crazy Arab necessarily. There are times when I want a little crazy Arab, but Rita, as I know you're in my headphones, would you mind telling these people where the footpath is? We have an absolutely wonderful yard here that has a footpath, and we probably once a week have people get it slightly wrong, and that's okay. Ooh, ooh, oh dear! You did that exact same thing yesterday. I hope that isn't becoming a bit of a pattern.
Oh, better. Right.
That's better. So we knew from the beginning that he'd find jumping hard with all of his fabulous prancing. So we just Help set it up. There you go. You see, you're okay. And you lived. To build up his confidence with it. What happened? Did it all go kaploop? Did it? It's like having the little kid in gymnastics that's just not quite able to do one of the exercises. It's not that they won't be able to do it when he's a bit older. Of course he will. He just needs a little bit more patience. And to be rewarded for trying. As long as he comes into that, and it didn't even really punish him when he tried to duck out. Like it's not about, you just ignore the negative behaviour, right, and keep him going. And when he tries, even a little bit, even if he knocks everything down, even if he makes a mess of everything, lots of love for trying. And the main thing being he doesn't think of it as a difficult thing. We do it enough that it becomes an easy thing for him. Come on then. And it doesn't even matter if Puff's got a wonderful jump, and always has. And any demo that I want to do jumping with, I will probably take Puff. But even if Lollipop becomes purely the dressage horse and does nothing but dressage and maybe cow working, because he's got some lovely turns on him, even if that's all we do, oh dear, oh dear, no, that's okay, that's okay, I know, your little foot. We'll go back up again. You can see, like, he got a little excited, pranced over there all fabulously, but it was like you couldn't see where the jump was. You're too up, aren't you? You're too up, I know. But I actually think when he's got this, he'll have a lovely jump. A little bit more. You can step over it, that's okay. That was good. Oh dear. We do it one more time. Now, we have another tendency as people, because he's doing it kind of slow, but I want him to think through it slowly, right? I want him to process it, but instead of, like, let him step over it, knock it over, whatever, that's all fine. Trot off. There we go. And so, when we do jumping online, yeah, that was it. Yeah, we jump and we turn and we face, and that's to help shorten the flight line, so that if they're afraid of the jump, after they've jumped it, they don't bolt off with you, which a lot of horses do that. With Lollipop, he's not especially afraid of the jump itself, he's just not forward enough, and he doesn't trust his legs enough. But instead of driving him when he's in the jump, which could potentially teach him to be nervous about being in the jump, we trot in and we reward him for stopping and sniffing, because that's him connecting to the poles and thinking about what he's doing, which he should be doing much further out. But then instead of driving him through the jump, we just go somewhere after the jump. So that the reward is no longer with me, the reward is in a straight line afterwards. It can be so easy to go, well, I'll just push him in the jump. And he probably would jump it today if I drove him like right there. But I would rather give him a little bit more time here. Let him go through it slowly, think his way through it, and then we trot after. When we get a rest at the other end of the arena, you can see he's a little bit more ready for it that time. Come on, once more. Once more and then we'll saddle you up, hey? Because I don't really want to spend too long on jumping today. Hey? We want to maybe ride you today. And even if he doesn't get it on this, even if the jump's not there on this one, it doesn't matter. We've set everything up. Oh, we got distracted by the canoe. I think that's fair enough. That's okay, don't worry. It's good education for him. What was that? Huh? I think we can maybe do it one more time. You'll also notice I don't tend to turn him away from the jump. He's got a little bit of an idea that he might want to duck out to the side. And because he's got a nice backup, I can just use his nice backup to give him that. A little bit more of a running start. You ready? Try it again. That's it. Ooh. 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 Over. Good boy. Ooh, I can't quite prance that fast, kiddo. No, I've not quite got that much prance in me. I know I said one more, but I might have to do that just once more. Huh? I can't help it. It didn't have the final jump feeling to it. Did it? Oh, really? I'm sure that's on purpose. I'm sure that was on purpose. You held that in, didn't you, just for this one? Concentrate now. Go. Go. Attaboy. Go. What I like on that one is he was ready for the forward afterwards. So we're almost there. Hey? We're almost there. I know. We'll come back to it again. Hey? I know. And so we may need to also add a bit more energy before the jump. And it might be that we also have to say, you can't stop in the jump eventually. But the goal really is for him to feel confident with it. He doesn't need to jump today. I have nothing to prove with him. He What we really want to see with the jumping is that each day he gets less and less avoiding. He connects to it more and more and thinks through it. I wouldn't be surprised as he gets better at concentrating. At the moment he's still very much a baby, likes to play with things and gets distracted and all the usual young horse things. I wouldn't be surprised if his jumps get a lot better as he's able to concentrate a bit more. But yeah, it's something I find a lot I do with the training is you get something a little bit better, but you can get yourself all tangled up in, but it needs to be perfect today. I want to get it right today. And then you end up pushing and pushing and pushing for something, but actually you just made it tense and not a fun thing. Come on. And like we said, in an ideal world, he wouldn't really realise he's being trained. He'd just be going from one interesting conversation to another. Puff's starting to throw a tantrum now. Been tied up for 30 minutes, how dare you? My hay's running a bit low. You still have at least 3 kilos there, Puff, at least. Are you feeling better? You want to be on the stream. Oh, big stretch from... You guys can't see, he's showing off screen, doing big bows and stretches and keeps looking over at the camera. You're such a show-off. It's alright, we'll be using both of you soon. Oh, they say horses don't get jealous. They don't have emotions, they're animals. What are you doing to my girth? That's my nice girth. Cinch. Sorry. Riding English too much. It's a cinch. Give it. Give it here. I want it. You're much more feisty today, Lollipop. Because we had that little bit of rain. It's good. Or are you just getting a bit more confident with what's about to come and how you feel about it? Again, saddling a young horse is a real art form. It's one of those I often feel like I don't do my instructor justice. She really was very strict with me about how to do it, and I often get it wrong still. There's a real balance to being smooth enough that it all goes on lovely and there aren't any issues. Being ready for anything that could happen, because my God, are there some things that can happen while you're saddling a young horse. But also being laid back enough that It's like, oh, whatever. It's just a saddle. Because you want your horse to have that, oh, whatever. It's no big deal. And if you're there tense thinking, but what if he, but what if he, but what if he? Or if you're faffing, adjusting everything constantly, you have the same problem, don't you? Well, now you're tired. Oh, poor little baby lollipop. I do have to wonder how I've ended up with a horse called Puff, Lollipop and Strudel. I'd rather you didn't break my saddle. Again, balancing between, I'm just watching to see if he actually chomps anything. But like, you don't want him to feel like he can't. You're not allowed to look at that. It's like, no, of course he needs to experiment. Do you think I should get a new buckle on that? That, not an acceptable buckle. That, no. The big yawn. I'm a stallion, honestly. Vicious stallion. Let me toss my head. And yawn. Come on then. Let's see you moving it. You want to go that way? I want you to go that way though. I know. I know. Won't you go? No. Drop that shoulder in towards me. No. No. You see him kind of... The first time he's really told me off in a non-playful way. That was very much a dominant. You're going to push me forward, so I'm going to shove you. There it is again. I'm going to shove you. Sometimes he does it just out of balancing things, but I think that's more balancing. That last one was more of a don't tell me, don't want to. There you go. Come here. When I checked it a minute ago, that pin was in. Now I look at it again, it's come out. It's not meant to come out, is it? No. Well, Lollipop, it is very much not coming off now. It is on you. And that saddle is not moving now. Right. Let's see if we can't get you moving forward in it, hey kiddo? I move with something so tight around my belly? Go on. Go on. There you go. It's interesting, he's come out with a little bit more sass today. It's not bad. But it's interesting how we had our first real, like, he really wasn't happy with something we did. He didn't like the trotting with the saddle. And he's come out today a little bit more like, I don't really want to do that. I'm having to push him a little bit more. I know. There you go. Come on. Let's try this, hey? Let's see if this might help you go in a straight line for a bit, hey? Again, because straight lines are easier than circles. And I really want him to just go somewhere. It's those stirrups, they really annoy you, don't they? Don't run me over. How do you move in this thing, eh? I guess while we're just trotting around waiting for a lovely young horse to figure himself out, I'm running 100k in July for charity. I'll stick a link below if you want to donate to the charity. Watch me cripple myself running 60 miles in one day. A little bit longer. You can see he's like processing things, and we just want to wait for him to finish thinking through all of it. And you know, he had a little buck today, but if we get to a good place with this, I still would probably sit on him today. Because his issue is more in the stirrups flapping than it is in the weight or the feeling of it round his belly or any of that. I normally would like to see them canter before I get on, but we're not talking about getting on and riding off into the sunset today. We're talking about just maybe sitting up there for the first time. Hey. Oh, prance. Oh. You're an Arabian. You're not supposed to be outrun by a two-legged. Hey? You're not. No. And again, this not an educational how to start your young horse video. I probably would not add this into the tutorial of how to start young horses. But I just know it'll help him potentially to go in a straight line for a bit longer. You're much safer on a circle. He keeps falling behind me and I keep having to crane my neck because obviously I need to see his eye, make sure he's not going to buck on top of me or something. And there's still a chance of it because he's quick. He has kicked people before. You're sharp with those back legs, aren't you? Let's do one more and we'll call it good, okay? Oh, you know, you don't like it, do you? Hey, you don't like it, I know. And again, it's the balance, you know, you don't want him to feel drilled, but you want him to have long enough. Oh, you were nearly about to blow out there. Okay, one more. And the whole time I'm doing this, I'm just watching his face, watching his expression. Sometimes in the mirror, sometimes, yeah. Because that's where the magic happens, is up in the eye and the ears and the nostrils. Oh. One more. My goodness, kiddo, you're making sure I get my 20,000 steps in today. Hey? Come on. Come on, you can do it. I don't know, he just feels like he's right on the edge of a something. I think a blowout. But I don't. You're so close. I was counting the laps left and right, but I've now lost track. I think we've done too many on the left. Hey? Come on. Okay, well, we'll call that good. We'll call that good for now, okay? So I step back because I want him to think about it on his own. Without me getting in his way. See, I really thought you were going to do that trotting. Maybe not. And so, approximately 20% of the time you spent doing something, you should do nothing. And this can vary. You're always better to spend longer doing nothing. But let's say you spend 5 minutes doing something, spend at least a minute standing still, doing nothing. And, you know, we've talked about it with him, how we often walk, because he doesn't consider walking to be something. We've led him enough that it's not a pressure. But standing's even better. So I think we were running for about 7-8 minutes there. So we'll stand for a good amount of time. Hey? Not to mention there was a lot to think about in all that, wasn't there? Hello. I'm very proud of you. That deserves a sweetie, does it? Sweetie level, good. That sweetie level good. Those stirrups are not very nice to chew on, are they? Oh, go to sleep again for a little bit. It's like you're doing that, I'm sleepy, but I'm not tired. You need to go to bed, you're all grumpy. I'm not tired. I could stay up till midnight. Huh. You are sleepy. No, I'm not. Yes, you are. You're just tired or hungry, I don't know which. Maybe a bit of both. Don't know. Another lick and chew, really good. You have a very good lateral flexion to the left, kiddo. Don't you? Very good lateral flexion to the left. Believe it or not, you can bend that hind end over. There you go. It does work, see? It's like, yeah, but it's not nearly as easy as it was without the saddle. Okay. Go. Let's see how you feel about the bridle today, kiddo, shall we? And then, if everything's good, we're all ready to hop on, aren't we?
So a question, Jamie.
Yes.
Is you're using the bridle today?
Yes.
Is there any reason that you're not just using the halter?
Halter. Yeah. Honestly, it's just I don't. You can do either. I'm just sort of starting as I mean to go on in this case, because I don't feel like it's going to be much extra stress for him to learn that at the same time. For me, the halter's the main challenge with the halter is you don't have a really good stop if you ever need it. Your main strategy is to just sort of wait until they settle, which is good. That's not why I'm doing it with him though. I just feel like I want riding to be a bridle thing. I really felt like when I started Puff, I didn't get the bridle on quick enough. But it depends on the horse. Some horses I do in the halter, some horses I start in the bridle first ride. I was very much, because I know when I started Presley, like I was very much, you start in the halter and then you move on to the bridle, and very strict about it. And I don't know what's made me soften that rule a little bit. But there are some horses that it's like, absolutely not, it's just going to blow their brain to also add in bridle education. But I think it's probably Puff that's made me change my mind more than anything. It's taken me so much extra work to get him happy in the bridle. Because I took so long to get him going in the bridle. Sort of to start his education in the bridle.
When did you start on Puff?
With Puff, when did I start him?
In
What
what
age?
Was it when you put
He
the bridle?
He was 3.5 when we first rode him, and I think the bridle first went on about the 4th ride. But he never really liked it, and he's actually much better with it than Puff was. It's not a very clear answer, is it? I'm sorry.
No, and I think different horses respond
in different ways, yeah. And I've really, I don't know, I've just totally changed how I think about these things. In Lolo's case, I just think that he's really not going to find it that hard to learn the bridle. So we'll just start as we mean to go on. I think it's potentially, I've done a lot of study on how to teach a horse in contact, where when I started Presley, my contact work was below average, let's put it that way. And it was stupid because I had good hands, and even my instructor used to say, like, you drove horses for years, you have good hands. What are you stressing about so much? and I couldn't tell you what it was. And I started learning Philippe Carl style bridal education, and I think it just clicked. The sort of aids clicked in my head how I want to do it, and it went from being this mystical thing, contact, that I'd pull on the reins and occasionally I'd get the right thing, and the instructor would go, "That's wonderful!" And I go, "What on earth was wonderful?" I couldn't feel any difference or see any change in anything that was happening. To, "I get it." Whew. That was bad timing, wasn't it, kiddo? For that to happen. See? Okay. You're alright. Well, I'm glad I wasn't sat on you when the flag fell over. Come here. Come here. Oh dear. Oh dear. Oh dear. Oh dear. And that's why, children, we have our reins tied up the way they are. So, when we get a horse started and we're doing stuff, we do we start with, are you okay with the saddle at walk? Are you okay with the saddle at trot? Are you okay with the saddle at canter? Are you okay with the saddle over a jump? And then the last thing I test is I scare the horse. And I go, is the saddle still not an issue even when you're afraid? That's the first real spook we've had from Lollipop on anything. And it's basically because he was really thinking about the bridle, and while I'm talking to him within the bridle and up the front here, and then the flag, I don't know if you could see it on the stream, the flag just slipped off the fence and flopped behind him, so he got a jump while his head was bent away from the thing, so he couldn't see it. Attaboy. Attaboy. And so all I'm doing here, if you can't see, is just a give and take with the reins to ask him to bring his head round. Attaboy. And we know that he finds this side a little bit more difficult, so spend a little bit longer, which is probably also why he was a bit more jumpy when the thing fell over. It's so easy when stuff like that happens, though, to get and you just add to the situation and to lose track of what you were doing. And just take a breath, wait. Would you mind, Rita, going on your phone and just checking that the stream's still working? Because it would appear that he managed to turn the button off while bucking. The stream should still be running. It might just be that the recording of that got knocked off partway through. Because the stream is technically a thing off the camera. So it might... People might be watching the stream and then all of a sudden he bucks and the stream dies, which would look quite terrible, won't it?
It's running.
It's working. Great. Great. It'll be, in the recording, it'll be like, and the film ends. Jamie died. That was the end. Good boy. We're going to do that bending one more time, and then I am still going to sit on you. I know. How crazy is that for a concept? And maybe I don't sit on him, I don't know. It depends. But you know, I have a plan and I'm going to stick plan. But as I'm mounting, if he gets really tense, we've only got a few more minutes left of the stream. And I do want to try and keep them under an hour, although I just have way too much fun playing with you each day, don't I? Way too much fun. Cool. But yeah, we'll play with mounting in the saddle. Maybe have a little sit on your back. Maybe not. Who knows? We tend to see that bucking and think, oh no, he bucked. There's no way we could sit on him today. It's very rarely a cause for concern. The horse could buck any time. Any horse you're riding can buck any time. We just forget. We're riding a wild animal, aren't we? Hey? I had a horse in the States, little grey mare, and she suddenly bucked me off out of nowhere. Not horrendous, it was lucky I was in the arena. She was really calm. No discernible thing, and everybody was shocked, like, how on earth did that happen? She seemed fine, you were riding her fine. And got her in the evening after riding for another hour after that. She had a massive swelling in her flank, and we think she probably got stung by something like a bee or a wasp. She was a 12-year-old, started, happy horse, so we forget that whole rodeo thing can happen any time. Can't it, Lollipop? Rock the weight. So, before you get on any horse, just rock your saddle. You saw he was standing like this. And there's no way he could support my weight. Stood like that. So don't be so worried. It's not a problem. Honestly. It's not a big deal, kiddo. You see? You see? Again, I love that he connects and thinks about what's happening rather than just something that I'm very proud of him for. Oh, sleepy boy. Yeah? You okay? Seeing me out of that other eye? Oh, big sigh and lick and chew. Good boy. So I'm trying to support all of my weight on my hands. Try and stop the saddle from moving. Again, watching his face. Tension in his neck, all these types of things. That's good, kiddo. That was pretty good, kiddo. Hey? Let you have a minute to think about that. Then guess what we're going to do? Then we're going to get on from the other side. Because we're weirdos. We get on from both sides. Yes, we do. If you could attempt to be slightly cuter, that would be great. Yes, you are the cutest little horse. Now you've got two things to bite underneath your chin as well, huh? Even more interesting. No, mount from both sides, always. And I'm intending to put my leg over onto that other side. So the more he's used to feeling me on this side, the better, really. I did brush you before the stream. You know, it's rained and you look all dirty now. Zoe will be cross with me. Live streaming you muddy. And you're not, are you? You tell her when she comes up here. You're not actually dirty. A little bit more unsure about the bouncing on this side, hey? Yeah? Good lad. Oh, sleepy pony. It's a lot to take on, isn't it? All at once. It's a lot to take on board all at once. You ready? Exactly the same as on the other rein, hey? Bounce a little bit and then hop up. That a boy. Wait. Good. It's a kiddo, eh? There's a good kid. There's a good boy. Should we ride you, kiddo? Hey? Shall we do it? Shall we sit on you? It's exciting stuff. I know it's exciting stuff. Yeah, I had a feeling you might have got a little stuck. Hey? It's really not uncommon when you do this mounting stuff that they get a little locked up and stuck. Just walking off can just help loosen the mind and the mouth and all the rest of it, hey? Okay. You ready, big kid? You ready? One of my favourite sayings from Buck. It's really great that you got that. Now you just got to do it a couple thousand more times. That's about how I feel about mounting this horse now. That's great, we got that all calm and good. Now we just got to do it a couple thousand more times, Lollipop. Hey? Now we just got to do it a couple thousand more times, Lollipop. Just like that, hey? I know. That's my foot in there. And those are my reins. Oh. Anything better in all the world than being sat on a horse. Hey? Right, well, I've seen Uncle Puff do this, but Doesn't feel like what I thought it would. Oh, God, that feels more horrible when you're on you than it does on the ground. Fantastic. Well, if I had another half hour, I'd ride you about the walk, but I've already run over my time schedule. So I'm going to hop off you, kiddo. You might notice I'm keep rubbing him and sort of fidgeting a little bit. It's very easy for horses to just forget you're up here and then suddenly worry because it's like, oh goodness, you're still there. I forgot that you were there. Again, that balance. I pulled my foot out the stirrup and he wanted to sniff it. In a way, you probably would rather, you want to just get off because you're in that slightly vulnerable position. Attaboy. It's official, you're a riding horse now. You're a riding horse. Yeah. No one can argue. You're now a riding horse. You deserve all your rugs and your extra feed you've been getting for 6 months. Huh? No, no. These are not cheap. So let's not put them in our mouth. That just makes me want to eat them even more now. Good boy. See? You figured it all out. Little wonder Arab. Again, these first few times taking the bridle off are so important to get them right. So I'm actually pulling up into his mouth there.